Hi everyone, this is Killshot99 Gaming. This is Play Dead Live, the farm test. This is our last test run of PvP before we go live on Monday night. And there's been some pretty drastic changes to the farm, to PvP, to bundles, to gear. So I've got a lot of cool stuff. I've been doing conference calls with the leaders, the mods, several players all throughout the day. And I am very, very excited to introduce a couple of changes that I think are going to be very, very well received. So tonight we are going to do a practice match. It's not all-star game-ish. It's going to be semi-serious. Items will not be used. That doesn't mean that I want just anybody playing. I really want you guys to embrace it. The people that do plan on taking PvP seriously this season. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about I think some really cool stuff, because we saw it a little bit last night. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, give me a quick thumbs up. Give me a 999. We've seen a lot of really, really good grenades attached to TS10s, TS15s, M20s, T20. So I am going to open up some bundles tonight, but hold on a second, because you guys might be pleasantly shocked. So let me walk through a couple things and talk about the gear, how some of the bundles are going to work, so on and so forth. So as you guys know, one of the things that we wanted to do is make some of the supplies, some of the consumables, Friday night PvP, more cost effective for all players. So as we gradually increase the bundles, this is not new news to anybody. This is our fully inclusive grenade bundle. It's got all of our old school stuff. It's got the new stuff. And when we came out with the TS10s, the 15s, and the new ones, it served a couple purposes. One, it gives you guys a little bit more firepower, but it also gives you a chance to add some clusters to exactly what we're doing. But we don't want everybody using the class grenades in order to attach a 5 Romans, for example, to a TS10, TS15. Does that make sense to everybody? Because the Romans are good damage. The Roman's going to hit for, look at that overall damage. You're talking about a D18, and if you're a warrior throwing at a warrior, and you use 5 of those specialty grenades, then the reason some people are doing that, hey, Valar, thank you so much. Valar says, hello, 9 and Army Kills, great mods, channel members, patrons, PDL players, sponsors, super chatters, super stickers. You are absolutely awesome. Can't wait to see some PvP tonight. So I think this bundle is probably one of the best things that we've ever rolled out, because it is a $50 bundle. It's $106. Now, we have some players in factions that are grouping up and saying, hey, I'll throw in 15, you throw in 15, you throw in 15, and then they split up these grenades, which is awesome. But I wanted to take that a step further, because what would be ideal? So let me ask you guys a quick show of hands. If you have all these grenades up on the screen and you were throwing a TS15, what would be the best 5 grenades to attach to a TS15? Probably one of the ones that you don't use very often, right? GAM, okay. Most people are saying GAM. But as the game gets more and more, Anthony's saying Yeller, and Anthony, I would disagree, because Yeller is a D13. So why would you attach 5 D13s when you could attach 5 D6s? You get what I'm saying? So what you guys are doing in a lot of cases is you're depleting inventory of pretty good grenades. So wouldn't it be cool if there was a very cost-effective bundle of a whole lot of just generic grenades that do like 2 damage that you can't really use, that you could just load it up and attach 5 generic grenades to a TS10 and it do the same damage as attaching 5 Yellers, 5 Romans, 5 of something else? That would make too much sense, right? Because your really powerful grenades are your T20s and your M20s. So what if I introduced a loader bundle of 50 loadable grenades for $10? How would that go over? Now, instead of using all of those Yellers, all of those Romans, all of those Moss grenades, all of the swarm grenades, all of the other things, and now you get your T15s, your T20s, and then you can get 50 loader grenades for $10, and now you can put 5 of these loader grenades on a T10, and then 5 more on a T15, and then 5 more on a T25. Then that would allow your replenishment to come a little bit more cost effective. So let me give you an example of where we were at and where we currently are right now. And it is going to be called the loader. And there's exactly what I want to happen right there. So Will, for $20, is going to get 50 loadable grenades, and he's also getting 50 for Team Sly. And here's the way you guys are going to cast it. Here's all you have to type. And then instead of going through your inventory, do I have Yellers? Do I have Godiva, so on and so forth? Let me do it again, sorry. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. When you type that, I know that you're attaching. It's easier for me. It's more cost effective for you. And if you're in Friday night and you say, I'm throwing an M20 loaded, then I know that one of those will be an M20, and then 5 of these super cheap generic grenades, the loaders, are going to be in your inventory. So Amy picking up 2, that is 100 grenades. So what that means is, Amy, that means you just picked up enough grenades for 20 T15s. That'll likely last you for 2 weeks. So the intention is certainly to make it more powerful, more fun, so you guys have a great time with it. And my hope is that, I know some of you on Friday night, you're waiting for melee rounds, but this should, for $10 of entertainment, should also hopefully last you for a couple of weeks for the slightly higher than casual players. For a $20 a month investment, that's 100 grenades, will probably last you a little bit longer. It's just my point. And now I have all these added to your inventory. It'll say loader grenades. So check this out. And this is why I want you guys to see it from this perspective. I see Animal picking up 2. You're good, Animal. Deadly Dimes. Now, don't throw these at something and expect them to do a whole lot of damage. They're D2 grenades. So they're not going to take out a pet. They're not going to take out a wall. So if you're standing there throwing a loader grenade, not going to be a lot of damage. It's and with intent. The purpose of these grenades are to attach to clusters. I see B-Dub. B-Dub's picking up 1 for every member of Mir. And I'll tell you, I know B-Dub and I know Kel have transferred a lot of grenades to members of Mir. So this hopefully will take a little bit of the burden off some of the faction leaders and some of the other players. Because some people want to throw the most powerful grenades. Now you got a chance to do that. Dow last night, I mean, and this is no joke. Dow threw a T15 with 5 T15s attached to it. You know why? Because he didn't have any loader grenades. So he was using T15s with T15s because that's what he had the most of. That is not the way we want the game, everybody. We want it to be good for you guys, and we want it to be fair and everybody to get involved. And I think this is something that is going to certainly allow you guys to compete at a really, really high level. I see Deadly Dimes picking up a loader bundle for Dimes, Tiny, and for football. I see Valar picking up 1 for her and for Team Arc. So Team Arc is going to certainly add to the bank. And no doubt about it, Bonnie, and I think also from a clerical standpoint, it's a hidden benefit, but it also is going to make your inventories a lot more accurate. Because a lot of times I'm going through your inventories and I'm trying to add, like, somebody used 2 pinks, 2 red glass, and a aqua grenade. And the next time they use 2 Godivas. So you're right, less messages and more accuracy, because when you get the chance, you should be using these. Now, if for some reason you have a lot of grenades that you want to get rid of them. If you've got a lot of GAM grenades, and when you pick up these grenade bundles, you will accumulate other stuff. So there's still going to be nothing wrong with attaching 5 GAMs, attaching 5 Silvars. Yes, Emperor, that's the whole point of it. So I see Julia Muse. I see Kat picking up a loader bundle. So, Anthony, a TS-15 with 5 loaders is the exact same thing as a TS-15 with 5 yellers. Because each one of those yellers that you're attaching to it only adds 2 damage. The exact same as these grenades. That's why we wanted to put this out there, so you guys can replenish your inventory. And think about it. If this is enough grenades right here in this $10 bundle for you to fully load 10 TS-15s. So in a typical battle, a bomber is using 6 TS-15s. Most other players are using 3-ish. So this should be enough loader bundles to last you for 3 weeks, in essence. Now, if you take your Friday nights, probably 2 weeks. But certainly it's not going to, be that drain on all of your firepower. Let me give you guys a different snapshot to show you kind of where we're at, because I got some real exciting stuff to do, and we're going to get into gameplay, I promise you. But I want you guys to be excited about how we're turning the corner in the game. So let me go back to the grenade bundle. This bundle had 78 grenades when we first rolled it out. I think Gina was one of the first people to buy the grenade bundle. So it had 76 or 78. I think it was 78. And it was a $70 bundle. It's cost effective at the time. And the one thing I said was we're going to keep adding to it so it becomes more and more and more. So now it's 106. And the price dropped from 70 down to 50. So right now, and it's going to continue to go up and get better and better, for less than what it was 2 months ago, 50 plus 10. So for $60, you can now get 156 grenades. And what's cool about this, look what comes in the regular grenade bundle. You got T20s already in there. You got T10s in there. You got T15s in there. So you've already got 6 cluster grenades in there. So both of those things combined should absolutely last bombers for weeks, not just players. If you're a casual player, this should be like a one-time-a-month deal, if even, in addition to the other things you got. So I'm really excited about that. They will be added to your inventory, but that's not all I'm excited about. So now we've got a $10 loader bundle. Let me know any stream when you want to reload. We've probably done 20 already today. We also have the regular bundles we do. And that's going to be, I see you, Animal. Animal, 156 right there. So Animal is getting 2 of everything in that class. Your Rizzo grenade, your Skrill grenade, the Gas Blast, the FN-16, the Trinity, the TS-10. This is why I didn't want to get rid of the TS-10s. TS-10 is not as strong as a 15. A 15 is not as strong as a 20, but you can fully load a TS-10. And if somebody fizzles your TS-15s, then you still got your 10s. Somebody fizzles your 20s, you still got your 10s. So there always going to be some nice firepower attached to them. And the class grenades, I got to tell you guys, the class grenades are really, really good. And it was kind of breaking my heart to see you guys attach 5 Kips and 5 Mash and 5 Swarms. You need to save those class grenades for when you're fighting another class. they're especially powerful when you use it and fight your opposing class. If you're a sniper fighting a sniper, a swarm grenade is as strong as a M20 fully loaded. You guys gotta understand this. If you're a warrior fighting a warrior, you should be using a Roman grenade. That is one grenade. So, I get where some people are saying, hey, we need more consumables, we need more things, but just those class grenades up there, if you use them smart, one grenade is going to be equivalent to 6 grenades the way you guys are doing it. Snipers should be using swarms versus snipers. Engineers should be using KIP versus engineers. Tanks should be using Armada versus Armada. And I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying that some of you guys are doing it wrong and then complaining about the amount of grenades. So 2 grenades is not a big investment. You got to use your inventory the right way. This is part of the reason why I wanted to sort of change this and preach this with the stream a little bit. Because it's very easy just to T15, 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 and that's fine. But I put a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of energy into these inventions. I need you guys to dig deep and use them for what they're intended for. It makes the game more fun, and it saves you a whole lot of resources. So it's a win-win situation. All right. That's not all we're doing. So I did get a request for this one as well. And I wanted to, in addition, this was kind of a dual suggestion on the conference call today, because we've never done this. So I got a request for some old school smokes, and also I wanted to add some potions to it as well, some high replenishment items. And they'd even said, hey, Kills, we need some smokes. I don't care. Do it as a $70 bundle. And I'm thinking like, no, if we're going to do a smoke bundle, let's do something that is, in addition, cost effective. So we cut the price on the grenade bundle. We added 50 loader grenades. Well, how about this? How about a $30 smoke bundle? And this is what it is going to contain. And it's not just a smoke bundle, okay? This is a $30 bundle. I'm calling it my 30 for 30. It's got all of the old school smokes in it. In addition to that, I got requests for Res and Restore. And in addition to that, I am going to now allow all players to revive 3 pets per match. So it's up from 2. So the reason there's 3 pet revives in here is because now when you play PvP and you play at a high level, I don't want you to lose your pets. I want you to be able to cast your pets at will, not will. You get what I'm saying. Not at will the bill. But now you're going to be able to revive 3 pets per battle. And there is 3 pet revives. So, again, everything in that bundle, it's $1 a piece. It's 20% of what it would be in a pack. Yes, we're going to do packs. Yes, the newer smokes are going to be in the packs. Yes, the cosmics are going to be in the packs. The legendary is going to be in the packs. But this bundle is a 30 for 30. And you might notice one additional thing. And that is, there's a brand new potion at the very end. So we have the Rage Potion is back. The Enrage 3 is back. The Fury 4 is back. And now we got a brand new potion. Now what does that mean? That means you can now use your Fury 4 without exhaustion. So you can use Rage, Enrage 3, Fury 4. If you use the Frantic 5, the most powerful potion in the game, you can't use the other ones. So the rules for Fury 4 now apply to Frantic 5. it is going to add the most bang for your buck. So when you want that shot on somebody and you're ready to get that killing blow, you can't use your other ones, but you can use your Frantic 5. So if somebody's not using, from a defensive standpoint, if I'm playing PvP and somebody didn't use an Enrage 3 and they didn't use a Fury 4, and we're halfway through the match, I'm going to start thinking, they're setting me up for a Frantic 5. So it is going to be, we have not added a new Enrage potion in 4 months. So the gear has changed, the gear has scaled. Now, does that mean that a Frantic 5 is going to hit for 100 points? No, it does not. If you are wearing no gear, yes, it does. So the Fury 4s, the Enrage 3, were, and this is where I got to change your mindset. They were never going to do 100 points of damage or 60 points of damage. They scale based on who they're hitting. So if somebody walks in naked and you hit them with a TS15 with a Frantic 5, it's going to hit them for 120 points. That's the reality. If they are fully armored, it is the strongest potion in the game, but it's not going to hit them for 100 points. And I know most of the players know that, but it does bear repeating. So this was a special request from Will. And he said, Kills, we need to bring back some of the smokes. And I wasn't going to do it right away, but then I thought about it tonight. It was like, yeah, let's put it up on the screen. Let's show all these awesome items that we put together. I see Will picking up a 30 for 30. Cat picking up 30 for 30. Dimes picking up the 30 for 30. And Bones is going to take some smoke. Now, again, these smokes are something, it's very unique to our game that is not in any other game. There's potions in other games. There's elixirs in other games. There's armor in other games. Smoke is something that is unique to Play Dead Live. So I'm very, very proud of kind of our beginnings and these items and how you guys have sort of utilized them. So all of these smokes in here, let me tell you, I mean, Flight Smoke, Unholy, Warp Smoke, Storm Smoke. Storm Smoke got an upgrade, by the way. You'll see the stats on that. Silent Smoke. Look at the originals right there in the second row. There's your Thrill, your Chill, your Heal, your Seal Smoke, Darkness, Fear Smoke, Damage Over Time, Time Smoke, and then you got your potions right there with See Weakness. But these were, if you guys want to know where the game started, where it came from, look at that second row. And go red, blue, and green. That's where we started with the Asylum. So those of you who don't even play in a couple months, they weren't even cards back then. They were just pictures. And I didn't want to upgrade everything because I wanted that kind of constant reminder of how you guys use these items. So we got B-Dub picking up a smoke and Kel picking up a smoke. All right, so far today, I've already announced you can revive 3 pets. And this bundle right there, you know, first of all, the reason I changed this smoke bundle, and you see there's 4 resin restores, is because there was a whole lot of death. And because there's a lot of death in our PvP, 4 resin restores is certainly something that might help you on a Friday night. The additional pet revives, but I would say just this bottom row, to be perfectly honest with you, 4 resin restores, 3 pet revives, an Enrage, a Fury 4, and a Frantic 5 is probably all value. So that's all items that I wanted to add that are extra items, because the top 2 rows are basically your old school smoke. So now, and you can replenish this. Let me know during our streams. Just say, hey, Kills, I want to pick up a smoke bundle. We'll put it up on the screen like we do the grenade bundles. So we've got grenade bundles for 50, loader bundles for 10, smoke bundles for 30. You're still going to have your big regular bundles that have state-of-the-art gear. They're going to have some of your high-end ammo, any new items we roll out, new pets. That's still going to be a part of that. So let me, and I had this call today with all of our leaders, all of our moderators, but we got the players here wanting to do some PvP tonight. So let me announce something else that I am very excited about. And that goes with our regular bundle. So we want to have something for everybody. A lot of times you guys get gifts on, or not gifts, rewards. You get rewards on a Friday night, and they could be a couple TS10s. You need something to attach them to. So I think that loader bundle is perfect. It's a small investment for some of the casual players. I think it's perfect. Then you get that mid-level, which is this smoke bundle. Some of the old school players, some of the creative players, they know how they want to use flight smoke. They know how they want to use unholy. So all that, to me, is mid-level replenishment. And then you get your grenade bundle. A grenade bundle could be for big players, could be a weekly investment, could be something somebody buys once a month. Or maybe they don't use a lot of grenades every 2 months. So you kind of got both stages of that. And then, no doubt about it, the $70 bundles they're high-end bundles. It's going to have your best gear. It's got your brand new gladiator gear. And I wanted to do something different and unique for the players that collect that gear. And if you didn't hear it from your faction leaders, I want you to hear something that I think is really, really cool that we're going to roll out. So those bundles, let me show you the bundle we did the other night, and I'll show you why this is super, super important. So the bundle we did the other night, and if I can find the stream. All right, so this is the bundle that we did the other night, and this is what I'm talking about. It's got skins, it's got wild cards. The people picked up the bundle already had the other night. They had T20s. It's going to have a nice mix. But look at all the things. If you bought this bundle the other night, you basically got 4 T20s, or 2 T10s, 2 T15s, M20s. So a good mix. But the big thing I want to draw your attention to, in addition to the Cosmos, is the gladiator gear. So the gladiator gear, that helmet. We have players who collect these high-end pieces of gear because it is the best of the best. But a lot of times what will happen is the players that just got gladiator gear, what are they going to do with the Merc helmet? If you're in a faction and you have this piece of gear, you're probably not going to keep it. You're going to trade it, or you're going to give it to one of your faction mates because you want them to be competitive, right? So when we start collecting gladiator gear, and somebody has the entire set in middle of November, right? Middle of November, somebody is probably going to have the complete gladiator set. And then, so let's say a new set comes out next year. So then we start gifting the gladiator gear. So what I'm going to do is any players that collect the entire set of gladiator gear. You guys know, I mean, it's high end. It's a high end investment. You're going to get the gladiator title. So Valar, you picked up this last bundle. If Valar picks up all these bundles all throughout PvP, number one, by the time she gets to the tournament, she's going to be a badass because the stats on this are going to be incredible. But it's not just that. You're going to get the gladiator title. You're going to get a custom avatar that's going to be different than anybody else in the game. And even if you trade that gladiator gear, you're going to get a gladiator ability much like the class abilities. So I want to reward the players that are going to be able to get because now we put class abilities on hold. So let's say it's a Fury 4 ability and Gladiator B-Dub uses her Gladiator ability. So this is going to be something that's going to be very different. Now, she may want to give that Gladiator gear to somebody else. Whoever is gifted the Gladiator gear does not get the special ability. That ability stays with you, and that title stays with you. So If there's a new set of gear that comes out in January, then you can start collecting that gear and you may get a brand new PvP ability. So these are going to be ways that players start to accumulate unique and different abilities in the game. So regular players that could be investing less are still going to get the benefit of the gear. Players that are collecting the gear, that are adding it to other people, are going to get something in addition to. So believe it or not, I spend a lot of time thinking about ways to balance the game, and that is something that that I want to add for you guys as players. Now, somebody brought up a question and said, hey, what happens if I'm on vacation and I miss a bundle or I miss something along the way? If you message me whenever you come back, then what I'll do is exactly what I'm doing right now. I will give you the opportunity to pick up a bundle that you missed. I know somebody missed a PvP leggings a couple of months ago, and they never got a chance to get to PvP leggings because they only showed up on that one bundle. So now I'm going to give you a chance to go back and pick that up if you miss a week. So just let me know kind of what's going on with it. All right. Wow, a lot of cool stuff. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the farm, because the farm is going to be crazy tonight. It is going to be absolutely crazy. And it is going to change the way we do PvP. It's going to make everybody more competitive. It's going to involve everybody, not just Cycle 1, Cycle 2, Cycle 3. And you're going to see why all these bundles and all this gear and all this thing really, really comes into play. We're going to do a fairly quick match. There's no points involved. But some people sent me character record sheets, so I'm going to show you guys how hard some of this new gear hits. And we're going to pull up the farm. So here's the difference in the farm as opposed to the asylum. And as you guys know, all of our characters have custom avatars. So when you get that gladiator rank, you're going to get a brand new avatar that's going to be super, super unique that nobody else has. All right, so what I'm going to do, and I'll go through step by step, I want to get 4 volunteers. I need 4 volunteers. Somebody wants to get in the game. And once again, I want to get players who are ready to go on Monday night that basically want to get out there and just throw it out there and see how the turn-based combat is going to work. All right. Anthony, hold off because I don't think you're going to be there next week, so I want to reserve this for players that are certainly going to be in the PvP season. So we got Ocean Man. All right, let's get Ray in the mix. All right, Ray, I'm going to put you in the defensive zone. All right, let's get Amanda in the mix. Where are you at, Amanda? Amanda, I'm going to make you a rover. All right, we got Julia and Villar. I'm going to make Julia a rover. And Villar, I'm going to make you a tank. All right, Animal. Oh, yeah, I'm getting Animal in here. Animal Joe. Animal, I'm going to make you a bomber. All right, let's get... Ron says get Cat in there. Sure. I'm going to put Cat in the tank position. How about... Let's see, who else do we have from Vox and... can I get... Hey, Will? Will, I'm going to put you in the defender position. Don't worry about the scores up there. And I need Father Ron. All right, Ron, we're going to put you in the bomber position. Okay. So, it is new, Hard World. See, this is what I do instead of playing Scopely's Walking Dead Road to Survival. So, just to give you kind of a brief overview. Play Dead Live is a game I created late last year, put the finishing touches on it. We rolled it out in January. And it is a turn-based RPG that we do every Friday night. So it's a combination of, I'd say, Dungeons and Dragons, World of Warcraft, Road to Survival, probably almost every game you could imagine consolidated and grouped into one. So on Friday nights, we actually go through real live YouTube campaigns. I'll give you an example. This is a snapshot of something we did this Friday night. This was our intro video for Graves of Craven. All right, so that gives you an example. So if I had to describe Play Dead Live, it is a weekly campaign. Players start out, new players come in, they start out 2 levels below players, so there's not a grind to level up. Our players just hit level 10. It's experience points based. It's turn based, so there are different factions. We have 4 different factions: Mirror, Arc, Sly, and Vox. They have faction leaders. And they have their own chat set up. They prepare for Friday night campaign. So Friday night is really where you go in. You're all on the same team. You grind out experience points. You beat bad bosses, and you grow with the game. Then we do PvP, and our PvP is set up into teams. So Monday night, 9 o'clock, we do PvP. Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. And this is the current PvP. We've had solo. We've had the Asylum was a scenario. We're starting out this Monday. This is the brand new PvP, which is the farm, and it's got varying where you can get points knocking down walls, you can go in portals. You fight each other, turn-based combat. And you use different, I have working inventory that I mail out to people every week, so I email their inventory out so you can kind of do your strategizing and your planning. There's gear, there's gems, there's glyphs, so there's a lot of ways to sort of build your character up. We've been at it for 10 months, so very very good running campaign, great group, very spirited gameplay. But on Friday nights, we use kind of immersive video with stills and positioning to come up with strategies to beat bosses. And tonight we're doing a play test because Monday we go live with the farm. So we're talking about new PvP mechanics and movement and attacks and how to go about damaging your opponent. It's not all visual. Some of it is you throw a grenade. I'm not going to show you throwing a grenade. You're going to tell me who you target, and then we're going to give damage resolution. So you'll kind of know people that are on their heels and you're trying to get the killing blow and score for your team. We try to keep it about 2 hours, so teams are playing either on a Monday night or a Wednesday night. And then we actually do out-of-game rewards as well, where we do shirts, trading cards. Those cards that are up there on the screen, we have several people that have their own trading card that's printed and mailed to them, so they get keepsakes as well. There's a lot to it. I mean, we basically created a in-game, out-of-game environment that is it's probably the most unique gaming experience because we got so many different elements to it. There's the planning phase of it. There's the RPG phase of it, and then there's the PvP phase of it as well. So each faction is about 7 to 8 players. So the players you see here are a mix of different factions. So it's almost like an all-star game, but we're going to go through each move. And before we do that, I want to explain how the farm is different than no, absolutely. All you do to join up is say, I want to join up, and then I'll put you in a group of people, and they'll take it from there. So, guys, if you don't mind, I do want to explain because, we're getting interest from some of our old school gamers that I probably gamed either World of Warcraft, Road to Survival, No Man's Land. So you're going to see probably more and more players to come in, and I think it's a pretty unique experience. So Hard World, here's kind of the different class perspective. So up there on the screen, you'll see different people. For example, a sniper. Snipers going to be your ranged attackers. There's different advantages to being a sniper. The one advantage is you gain 2 points of damage per level. But here's what's kind of unique about this game compared to other games. You build up what is called attribute ability. So you start out at ATT 6. So really the goal of the game is to level up and increase your capacity to have better gear and better weapons. So the higher you level your attributes, the stronger weapons you can use. Now, you will build up base strength, you will build up base health, but the real name of the game is getting a high enough level where you can use good gear. So players start out at, when we first started the game, back in January, you could start out from a 1 to a 6 in attribute. Now all players start out the maximum of a 6. So we kind of scaled it up a little bit. So the higher the ATT, the better gear you can use. And as I showed up on the bundle just a minute ago, the Gladiator gear is the best PvP gear in the game. But yeah, all you do is you pick a class, a sniper, a ninja, a tank, a warrior, an engineer, a priest, or a medic. And they all have different classes, different abilities. Sniper is going to be your ranged attack. They hit harder than anybody else from range. Your warrior is going to be your melee. They hit harder than anybody else at melee. Your tank is going to absorb all of your damage. Engineers are going to be kind of creative. They have bombs, the ability to defuse bombs. Medics are a healing class. Priests are a preventive damage type of class. Ninja is a mix of stealth and hand-to-hand. Ninjas have a nice balance of ability where they can prevent damage and also kind of stealthy, do a little bit of damage. And I think I left somebody out, but no, I covered everybody. So you basically start out with what type of class you feel comfortable playing. And you work around that. If you like ranged attacks and you like collecting nice bows and you just jump in and say, hey, I'm going to be a sniper. If you like to kind of go toe-to-toe, a warrior. If you like to kind of step in front on Friday nights and prevent people from taking damage and help the group, you go that route. If you like kind of that sneaky stealthiness, I'd go ninja. If engineer gives you some good balance. So you basically just decide which class you want to play. We create a character. I would get you with a faction leader. They'd set you up on Messenger, and they'd get you in chat and just get you to start jumping in and playing the game. You'd start out at level 8, so it'd be certainly sped up a little bit more because right now we're at a point where we've gone through 10 months of storylines where it started out in the asylum, then it went to where we're playing now, PvP, went to Crowley's farm, then there's Crypt and Catacombs, Jigsaw's jungle. But every Friday night is a pretty unique experience. We have Saturdays where we do pack openings. We have level up events. But yeah, it's I don't know any other way to explain. It's very immersive. So, and just to kind of give you, yeah, it's very hands-on. This was a raid that we did a couple weeks ago. It's called the Maximum Assault Raid, where we went through this. It's very military focused. And the group kind of ended up in this area. I'm going to move the portal just for sake of positioning, just to kind of show you a little bit of how some of the hands-on went. So certainly, and this is like some behind-the-scenes stuff too, because there's the portal. So this portal was a goal to get the portal operational. And these were some of the different bosses that they were fighting. So a lot of what we'll do is you guys are telling me in real time, like Trigger will say something along the lines of, hey, I'm going to attack Karis, so we'll move Trigger into position. Bones will go here. And if you ever played Warhammer, it does have a Warhammer feel to it, except it's done live, and it's done on YouTube. So I know last week, Anthony the Emperor was attacking Buzz, so he was right here. And everything has a range. So a tank is going to want to be up here. A medic's going to want to play, back here. A warrior's going to want... Ray was over here last week. He was using his legendary. He was attacking Anne. But that was one of our scenarios where... I don't think there's any game like it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say D&D meets Warhammer meets World of Warcraft. That's probably going to give you a good overview. So there is some hands-on maintenance. There's some things that you'll do as far as prep when you're not playing, gearing up, jumping up, maximizing your position. So, but Friday nights are much, much different than PvP. Friday nights is basically all of the group working together. And, here's an example of somebody we fought last night. We have a very Halloween theme. And the group had a battle last night with Crane, Jack, and Leon. Those were some of what they were dealing with. So they're going to pick who they fight, what they do. Crane had a special attack. So you get attacked, the bosses get an attack. Sometimes you die. I mean, you could probably ask the group. You guys don't die too often, do you? But no, they do. And it's, that's the fun of it, is it's not the type of game where you're going to go in and you beat the game. You don't go in and gain 20 levels in a week. It's not a beatable game. It's kind of it's an experience. It's a journey. And you guys create it. So it changes based on your decisions, your activity. So the story is always going to be a little bit different week after week. There's certainly a path. There's a semi-script. But your actions decide how much experience you get, how quickly you guys beat bosses, whether or not you beat the boss. So, but I will tell you, whether the group dies, whether they don't die, it's always a good time. It's always a fun group. So, all right. But certainly, we've talked about this last couple weeks. I think we're going to get a lot of new players over the next couple weeks. So faction leaders, if Hard World rolls a character and wants to jump into a faction, then certainly I know that Team Arc, Team Sly are looking for an additional player to sort of grow in their faction. So take a look, see how some of the PvP works, and if it's your game, then jump in, roll a character. If not, hang out with us, watch a couple, chill with everybody. It's not. I can tell you, it's not a troll group. It's an unbelievable group of people. This group is like, they're tight, man. It's like a family. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I've got Ocean Man, Valar, Julia, Animal, Will, Amanda, Unforeseen, Cat, and Father Ron. But the rules are different than the Asylum. The Asylum, there were 3 cycles. So it was period number 1, period 2, period 3. Ball it up, throw that out the window. The farm is going to be 2 cycles. 2 halves. But it's going to change in a hurry. So we have a path of escalation, and it is called 4-6-6-4. What that means that there are 4 turns per half. It's no longer time-based. So these 4 people that are on the map right now are each going to get 2 turns. On turn number 3, 2 more players are going to come in from the second team. So I know we got a lot of all-stars up there now, but if this was Team Arc, for example, or this was Team Sly, you could have Jim, Julia, Valar, and Dow, and we could have Beasley coming in turn 3. We could have Busy Bee coming in turn 3. So now we're going to have 6 versus 6 real-time combat. So it's going to go 4 versus 4 for 2 turns, 6 versus 6 for 2 turns, and then we're going to hit halftime. All players' health resets in the second half. But the second half is going to start with 6 people. So let's say Beasley and Busy Bee go back to the bench. Now, if they only have 1 player on the bench, that means Mist would come in, and either Busy or Beasley will come back in for 2 more turns. So you're going to start out the second round with 6 versus 6 for 2 rounds. And then on round 7, we go back to the starters playing. It's going to finish out the game 4 versus 4. Any questions at this point as far as how the rounds are going to go into play? 4 versus 4, 4 versus 4, 6 versus 6, 6 versus 6, halftime. 6 versus 6, 6 versus 6, 4 versus 4, 4 versus 4, end of game. 8 total turns. What that means is, that means that players that have been playing second cycle with other second cycle players are now going to be with some very, very highly geared, fun players, both on your team and against you. So watch out. If you were a second cycle player and you didn't get a chance to face B-Dub, now you might get that chance. Starters are going to play all 8 rounds start to finish. The only time a starter goes to the bench is when they die, and they will die. Because in some cases, you could have 6 players hitting 1 person. So with the new gear and that many people out on the field, who decides who sits when you go back to 4 players? Animal, the starting 4 are going to be the ending 4. But the second cycle players are going to play with starters. Because when you got, if you are a second cycle player, when you come in, you're going to be right there. you might need to revive yourself. So here's what happens. If, let's say, for whatever reason, you guys have a light night and only 5 people show up, and you get to the second round, or you get to the third round, and you need 6, a random player will get a second turn, not a chosen player. So what we want to do is we want to keep it fair. We don't want teams to say, hey, let's just have 4 people show up, and our 2 best players are going to go double. So if you have 4 people show up, yes, 2 of your players will get to go a second time, but you don't choose who those players are. To be randomly chosen by a die roll. So that's going to keep it kind of fair. We'll get to the portals in a minute, but we're going to do a walkthrough and show you how it works when our second unit comes in. Now again, these aren't regular teams. On Monday night, it's going to be much, much easier. So let's start it out. And there is going to be let me give you the point changes. So point changes, major, major differences. A killing blow, killing your opponent, is now worth 150 points. Capturing a flag, first flag, 150 points. Second flag, 200. Third flag, 250. You'll likely never capture 4 flags because there's only 8 rounds. But if you do, the final flag is worth 300. Defending. Starting a round and finishing a round with a defender in the defensive zone is worth 25 points. So that's went up too. That means if you're able to defend a zone for the entire match, that's 200 points. Keep in mind, BT7s and gas blast grenades are going to propel you out of the defensive zone. So you're probably going to see defenders getting more and more into PvP and using the points at the right time. The wall is still the same, so you can get points from the wall. When you go into the portal, a winner will be decided from the portal. Even if a player doesn't die, the portals are going to be 2-round battles. So whoever has the most life at the end of a portal battle is declared the winner between either solo or tag team. So if you kill somebody in the portal, you do get the 150 points. But if you win a portal battle, you get 100 points if it's solo. Your team gets 150 points if it's tag team. You can only go in the portal between rounds 1 and 6. So the final 2 rounds, you cannot go in the portal. Okay. We got a good overview. I'm going to kick this match off. And Will, why don't you start us out? You have 20 seconds to get your move in. Will is on the right side team. He is in the defensive position. So Will, you have 20 seconds. Keep in mind, timers are still the same. You'll have 20 seconds to type your move. And after the first round, you'll have 10 seconds to type your move. And if you're new and you're watching, I'm going to give you a verbal analysis of what's going on. I'm going to move your character based on what you instruct. And I will give you real-time scorekeeping. Will, range is 30 yards, but you have line of sight issues. So for example, you're going to need to be up here. You're going to need to be down there in order to get shots on animal if that's your choice. The steeple is in your way with line of sight. Sheila, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be more important than ever, faction chat, that you guys have strategies because there's a lot of ways that you can score, and I'm sure you guys will come up with a good strategy for your opponent. All right, so Will is going to slide over here, which will be line of sight, slight movement. So he is going to move out of the defensive zone, and he's going to go stun bomb and detonate to Animal. Animal, you have been stunned. That means you get one action on your turn. So Will, starting out, and you know what, Animal? I'm going to let you go ahead and go first for your team. You can throw grenades. You can't buff the grenades. You can't cast any pets and do a grenade, but you get one action, Animal. So let's see what your action is. It doesn't matter. It's not a real match, so do whatever you want to do. Hit the wall, cast a pet, go attack somebody. Got brand new loader grenades. None of this is coming out of your inventory, by the way. All right. Come on, Animal. Animal, why would... All right, here you go. Animal, why would you use Goldars? When I rolled out brand new loaders just for you, and you're loading a Goldar onto your TS10. All right, Animal, type TS10 loaded. That's all you got to do. There you go. TS15 loaded. So Animal is going to throw the grenades at the wall here. Now, TS15 loaded, it is a pretty generous wall today, so you guys know. Animal, your damage to the wall is going to be black block, green block, green block. Animal getting on the board with a black and double green. Looks like 25 points for Animal. It's a good start. All right, let's go back to the team on the right, and Father Ron, you're up next. I think gameplay is going to be super smooth and super fast, by the way, because 8 rounds. Oh, look at Father Ron. Oh, Ron did not pick up the loader bundle. Is that correct, Ron, or did you? I don't have the list in front of me. All right, so that's why Father Ron is going with the gold glass, because he knows it's in his inventory. So Ron is going to go TS20. See, now you know why the loader bundle is going to be important. It's going to save you a whole lot of your other stuff. So Father Ron throwing the TS20 with 5 of the glass grenades. Now, because it's a TS20, it's going to hit a little bit harder than what Joe did. And Father Ron hits a little bit harder. So we're going to go black block, green block, and I'm going to round up tonight, so I'm going to give you a blue block too. Father Ron getting on the board with an extra 25. All right, Jim, here, if you're watching, just take a quick snapshot. That's the grenade bundle. You know what that is. There's the brand new loader bundle. That is a $10 bundle for 50 loader grenades. So this is what most people are going to be using now for their TS10s, TS15s, T20s, and M20s. And we also did a smoke bundle as well. So that is the 30 for 30. It's got a lot of your old school smokes. And it's got a brand new res and restore in case you die. You can now res 3 pets. And it's got a brand new Frantic 5. All right, so Father Ron did a little bit of extra damage. All right, Ocean Man, you're up next. Ocean Man in the defensive position. Father Ron is loaded up with loader bundles. So now they'll be in your inventory. And it's going to be much, much simpler to type it. TS15 loaded. So your opponent's going to know and you're going to know. All right, Ray. Let's do it. Oh, look at Ray. Now remember, defenders do have line of sight. Actually, Will, you know what? I'm not going to move you out of the defensive position. Let me backtrack that. Will, you do have line of sight from the top. We're going to keep it equal. So Ray has line of sight without moving. I'm going to leave you in the defensive zone. You don't lose the points. Make sure everybody's clear on that. Ray is going to go red suit to Ron. So Ron, we're going to hit you for 90. You're going to get +5 deadly venom. And he's also going to hit you with a pine arrow. I'm going to take you down another 10. I'm going to put you at 80. I'm going to take you down from, I'm going to start you out at a base of 50. And Ocean Man's hitting for about 10 AP. So I'm going to take your base down to 40. And he's adding more deadly venom. So I'm going to put you at another, I'm going to put you at +10 deadly venom. All right, let's get Unforeseen. Where are you at, Amanda? We'll get Amanda going third. And everybody hold tight if you're on the bench, because I'm going to get you guys worked in a minute. All right, so Amanda is going to... Very nice. So she's going to slide around the corner here. She has vantage point on the wall. So she's going to cast a pet, which is going to be... She's going to cast Sue to Animal. So Animal, we're going to put you +5 permanent venom. Take Animal down to 90. And Animal's like, no. Animal doesn't want it to hit the wall. Look at Joe getting in the game. Joe using blue to stop that grenade. That's what I'm talking about. Denied, Amanda. No damage to the wall because your grenade was stopped by a homing pigeon. Joe in the house. There you go. See, Joe's already he's like, look, this is going to be an 8-round battle. It's only 8 rounds. So he's getting those defensive techniques out there early. Good job. All right, let's get Julia. You're up next. Uh-oh. All right, so Julia is going to summon Red Ross. So Julia, dropping the pet. If you guys don't know what Red Ross does, he's vicious. He gets a Wargo attack. So Julia, in order to get line of sight on the defender, we got to move you down. And Ron is going to stop that damage. Ron is like, oh yeah. So Julia goes Blue Spark, a little bit of extra damage. Julia was going to hit for about, I don't know, AP 16 or so. So it's going to be a big hit. Father Ron casts Psycho and prevents it. The team on the right side has 1 Psycho remaining for the rest of the game. All right, Cat, you are in the tank position. You had a chance to sort of watch us a little bit. So, Cat, you can play boss and attack the flag. You can attack somebody. You can attack the wall. You can go portal. All right, so you're going to go T20 loaded. Okay, good stuff. All right, red Toxie to animal. Oh, boy. Joe, for sake of gear, it's going to hit you for 35. So, plus 5. Animal, I'm taking you down to 50. Joe is down to 50. And Cat is going to go T20 fully loaded. That's some nice support there on the wall, Ron. Let's see what a T20 does fully loaded. Blue and blue, another 50 points for team right side of the map. All right, let's get Valar. All right, Valar, you're up. Is Valar going to go wall? Is she going to go portal? Is she going to keep the heat on Father Ron? Oh, look at this. Too late, Jules. Come on, you got to play blue before I do damage resolution. You don't get that. Next turn. All right, Valar is going to go SP3 and steal Ron's blue. And red Sue at Ron. So giving Ron a little, Ron, it is stacking up, man. That's plus 15 stacked up on Ron. And red Sue, Ron, I'm taking you down to 70 and 40. And you got a 15-point multiplier. Now, here's what's pretty cool. The deadly venom, not the deadly, the permanent venom, if you're a starter, you got to live with that for 8 turns. Starters are going to die, everybody. Just get used to it now. Don't get all mad and butthurt because you die. You are going to die. If you don't die in the exhibition, 3 or 4 red Sues you're going to be walking around with an extra 15% damage. All right, so hey everybody. That is our first full round. So here's what we're going to do. For sake of time, I am going to double all the damage that you took in the first round. Okay? And I'll show you why I'm going to do this, because I want to get more people involved, and then we'll get a little bit more gameplay. So let's just assume everybody's attack doubled. So Father Ron is down to 40. Joe, you're down to 10. So Ron and Joe are both really, really hurting. Okay? But we played out all of round 2. So from a visual standpoint, everybody, we went through exactly what we did, and we did something similar. People hit the walls, so there was more wall damage for Team Arc. There was a little bit more wall damage for Team Mir. So, I'm sorry. I'm saying Mir and Arc. Team left side. All right, let me get rid of the titles up there too. Give me a second. It's gonna get way too confusing. All right, so we don't have mirror and arc. Okay, so visualize, animal threw more grenades at the wall. So animal, we're going to pretend that you did a little bit more damage, okay? So you hit the wall again. We're going to give you 2 blue blocks. Ron, we're going to say you hit the wall. So team right side, starting to pull away a little bit. Will, we'll say that additional damage that was done, you did on Joe. That's why Joe is down to 10 points. Julia, we're going to say you shot Ron again, and somebody used a second psycho. So now they're out of psychos. Ron, you hit the wall again. And Amanda, you went at the wall again. That team used a second blue. And Kat, you hit the wall again. Another red block. So this is where we're at. Okay? 2 turns in the books. Now we go to turn 3. So I need 4 volunteers. I need 4 volunteers who want to come in the round of 6. This is round number 3. 2 will go on each team. All right, Busy Bee wants in the game. All right, and Busy Bee, you're going to get 2 options. Bomber or Rover. Sheila, you'll come in the game. You'll get 2 options. Bomber or Rover. Trigger. Bomber or Rover. And let's get Dal in the game. And Dal, Bomber or Rover? All right, so I'm going to add to the order, and you guys will see how this will work. This is going to be the first round of 6. All right, so basically 4 people came in that wanted to be Rovers. Now, if they want to be Bombers, we'd put them up here. So Rover position. Beasley and Busy Bee. You're going to go behind this building. Dow and Trigger. You're going to go behind this building. Okay. Round of 6. Third round. Animals at 10 life. Ron is at 40 life. Will, you started out the game, so round number 3, we'll go in that order. You got a wounded opponent in Animal who's a bomber, and you get your first turn. Do you go portal? Do you try to kill Joe? Do you... totally up to you. As I said, I'm walking through it, so I know people are going to die. Lucky you, Ray. You should be thankful. Because there's some badass ladies that play Dead Live, I got to tell you. The ladies that play this game are ruthless. Oh, look at this. All right. Beautiful move by Will. Beautiful move. All right, so Will goes Vile Smoke. And you know what? Thank you for pointing that out, because I do not have Vile Smoke loaded in the map, so I appreciate that. Let me do this just for visual. You guys are getting to see all the behind the scenes stuff. It's pretty intense to set up these maps. I just need you guys to know. All right. Anyway, this is your vial smoke. All right. So animal will cast vial smoke, which you're at 10%, is going to kill you. All right, so animal is dead. So that means team right side is going to get 150 points. So check this out. This is where it gets fun, okay? This is round number 3. And this is the first time I'm going through the motions here. I want to get the scoreboard updated. Will with the first kill in farm practice history. All right, so here's what I would do. I need a volunteer. So at this point, let's say it's Jim, let's say it's Bonnie, let's say it's Ron, whoever. They're going to pick the person to come in if they've got multiple people on the bench. In most cases, they may only have one person. So if this were Team Arc, and let's say Mist was there, Mist would come in that bomber position. So who do we have? Emperor, do you want to come in and bomb for the round of 6? All right, so we're going to bring Anthony over. Anthony, I don't even know where you are. All right, Anthony, you're going to be Tommy. All right. And you're going to go into Animal's position because first player died. All right, so Anthony, you're up first, and you're in vial smoke, so you got 20 seconds. Actually, never mind. Hold on. Emperor comes in. He's in vial smoke. I didn't get the remainder of Will's turn. So the player comes in, but Will is going into the tag team portal. All right, Will is leaving defensive zone. Wait. No. Will is going in the solo portal, and he's dragging Ocean Man in with him. All right, so we got Will versus Ray in the portal. Will, I'm going to put you behind this building. And Ray, I'm going to put you over here. All right, Will. Turn number 1. In solo, Will versus Ray, everybody. Each player. Now, let me explain how this would happen if this were Monday night. All right, so stop, everybody. When Will goes in the portal, the captain of the other team would get to choose who goes in the portal to fight him. Now, for sake of doing this, now, Will could have went in the portal, and let's say Julia was the captain. Julia could have said, I'm going in. All right? So for sake of gameplay, we're going to let it play out. Now, you know what? The other team may be chomping at the bit. Let's say Julia was the captain. Ray might be saying, no, let me in. I got this. I want to fight Will. So certainly you can make your case of who's going to square off. But when you go into the portal, the other team is going to get to choose who goes in the portal. You also go in the portal with any impairments, any buffs, any seals, any pets, go in the portal with you. So if Will was, let's say Will wanted to fight Ray, and he cast the Vile Smoke, he might have wanted to drop a seal smoke so he could go in already sealed. Make sense? Or he might have played a pet on turn number 1. Like, for example, Julia has Ross. So here's what would have happened. In a normal match, Will might have said, I'm going in the portal to get some points. Julia has red Ross. Julia would have went in, and then you'd have Julia and her pet taking on Will. The portal will close once these players square off. All right, Will, you called the portal. Ray volunteered for his team. You have 20 seconds to get your move in. Let me get you on the right map. Will versus Ray in the portal. All right, Will is going to drop Flight Smoke, so he's surrounded by Flight Smoke. And he's sending Toxie over at you, Ray. He's not playing. Ray did not have any Venoms on him, did not have any buffs. So, Will, you go in and you hit Ray for 25. And Will surrounded by Flight Smoke. Ocean Man, you're up. Your first turn. All right. Oh, boy. Ray, you're going to have to get line of sight on Will. So in order to get line of sight, you got to move all the way down here. Well, actually, you kind of don't. All right, Will cast Flight Smoke, so Will's up here. So Ray, all you got to do is move to about right here. All right, so Ray's casting Sky, and he's also hitting, Sky's going to hit Will for 10%. Yeah, your flight will kick in as soon as he doesn't stop it. So Ray is going to go marked for death and go red Rojo straight to Will. Woo! Will, I'm not going to tell you to play Psycho, but he's going to hit you for AP 18 if you'd like to play Psycho. Oh, you have none. Oops. All right. Yep. Okay, so Ray's going to hit marked for death. He's going to take Will from, I'm not factoring in all his gear. Will, I'm going to put you at 40 base. And I'm going to say Ray absolutely obliterates you for 18, taking you down to 22 and 80. So Will is at 22 and 80. Ray is at 75 and full base. And that is round number 1. All right. We're going to let those guys think about their next move. And we're going back to the farm. Because remember, it is turn-based. So we had Will's move. And now we get the Emperor's move. Anthony, you're up. All right, he's going to go Unholy Smoke. So he drops the Unholy Smoke. Good stuff. We'll get rid of that vial. Done. He's going to go Percy to Cat. So Percy is going to hit Cat for 10, 30, and 60. So first turn is going to take Cat down to 90. And he's going to bring TS 15 and 5 pinks. And I'm going to go ahead and give him blue, and we'll have a little bit of damage to the red wall. All right, so after Emperor, Father Ron, you're next to act in the round of 6. What do you guys think about the farm? You guys think it's going to have a lot of action, a lot of fun with the portals? I'm having a blast. I love it. I think this is going to be, when it's team-based, it's going to be the best PvP you guys ever had. Because you'll know your players. You'll know when they're coming in. Right now I know it's a little confusing, mainly because you guys are playing with different players. But you're going to see how this works out. So we got Father Ron is going to go Trey and Heelgrog. All right, so Ron is going to cast Trey, sacrifice it for 60. Heelgrog, I'm taking Ron back to 100. So Ron is good to go. It's going to be very fast-paced, too. All right. Ocean Man, you would get your turn, but because you and Will are turn-based, we're going to skip over you. So we skip Ocean Man, who's second to act. And then we go to Amanda. Amanda, you're up. Or should I say unforeseen? I see ATM in the house. We'll get you in a little bit. Oh, she's going to bring the vile smoke back. Emperor. There you go. All right. Amanda bringing the vile smoke back. Emperor, we're taking you down to 90. And wow, this is a interesting. This is going to be an interesting dynamic. All right, I got to think this through. I haven't really thought about simultaneous portals. All right, so on the fly rule: one portal active at a time. So I'm going to say right now, Amanda, no. Portal has to be closed before we activate the second portal. Because it's going to pull way too many people off the field. So the turns are going to get really, really wacky. So one portal at a time. Once again, if you guys are just tuning in, we are play testing it. So, we're going to have a couple questions. So I'm glad it came up. All right, so you're going to go TS20 to the wall. All right, I'll give her another red block. This is round number 3. All right, Julia, we got you and Red Ross. Julia and Red Ross. All right, Julia goes. All right, it's fine. Red, blue. We'll use it. All right, so Father Ron with blue, Julia with blue, Psychos. Okay, Red Ross only uses Wargo, by the way. Can't equip him with a different weapon. So he'll use a Wargo and whatever ammo you want to provide to him. All right, and where are you getting the? Okay, so you're gonna use Frenzy, correct? On you. All right, so Julia's gonna use a Frenzy potion, and she's gonna use her Rose with Rambo to Cat. And I already saw Dow said he's gonna tank Page 1 it. So that's going to be a 20-point AP shot. So Dow goes tank Page 1, prevents it. And then Ross is going to also go damage to Cat, which is going to be plus 10 plus AP. So we're going to take Cat from 90 down to 70, and we're going to say her base is 30 because she's pretty new. Well, she is a tank, though, by the way. Actually, it's going to be higher than that. Let's say her base is 40. So we're going to give Ross a 10-point base shot. So I'm going to say Cat's at 70 and 30. And Dow's preventing Julia's damage, not Ross's damage. All right, Cat, you're up. And the order is this. We got Cat, then Valar, then Trigger, then Busy, then Dow, then Sheila. All right, so here's the way line of sight works in the farm. So, Cat, in order to get line of sight on Sheila, you got to expose yourself here. You have to come up here on top of this building. Oh, wait. Never mind. You're targeting the wall. Okay, if you were targeting Sheila, you'd have to do that. All right, we're going to leave you here. My bad. Okay. Yep, gotcha. All right, so she's like straight up going after Beasley. Killer Beasley. Getting targeted by the new players. I love it. Getting everybody in the game. All right. So Raz is an AP 4-3-2-1. So she's going to drop Heal Smoke. She's going to throw the Trinity at the wall. And she's going to cast Raz. And Beasley, Raz is going to be like this. It's a Rhino. So it is straight charging in like that. Like, oh, Rhino shot. Right to Beasley. And Beasley's like, I got an Arc Mask. Boom. Beasley casting the Arc Mask, preventing the damage from the pet. All right, so Cat taking out one of the red blocks, Heal Smoke, and targeting Beasley. Good stuff. All right. Valar, you're up. 10-second timer for Valar. All right, look at Valar. Valar is going to go. Okay, Valar, let me show you this. Okay, Valar is saying seal, pet, and wall. All right, here's why you can't do that. Well, actually, never mind. I just moved you. You were in the rover position. You're fine. So Valar is going to slide back here, still in the rover position, sealing herself with max seal, casting a pet to Cat, sending Raz in to Cat. So Raz, it's 4-3-2-1. So we're going to take you from 30 down to 26. Remember, Raz, the gladiator pet, AP4, AP3, AP2, AP1. It stays out there and will hit you every turn. Dow is like, no, Valar, you're not hitting that wall. So Valar throws the grenade right there. Dow is going to cast red, blue. And for sake of gameplay, all blues and psychos are now out of the game, okay? Dow used his, prevents the damage. No more blues, no more psychos. All right, that's Valar's turn. Trigger. We got Trigger, Busy, Dow, and Sheila. Trigger, you're up. And then we go back to the portal. All right, Trigger is going to summon Toxie to Anthony. So we had Anthony at 90. We're going to take Anthony down to 65 with Trigger's pet. And Trigger is going to cast Max Seal and TS15 with 5 Vox. We'll say all blues are used, so we're going to reset the wall for team right side. And let's go ahead and give them the points on the scoreboard. Now, we know the points aren't accurate, but you guys are going to see how this works out. Oh, wrong side. All right, so team right side has a wall kill and a killing blow. So they got a little bit of both. Trigger keeping the heat on. All right, Busy Bee, you're up. We got Busy Bee, Dow, and Sheila, and then we finish round number 3. All right, she's going to summon Trey to Cat. So we're going to take Cat down to 45. And she's going to go TS20 loaded. Thank you for using the right terminology. And that red wall was already damaged, so I'm going to go red wall, and we're going to take out another red wall. She finished out the damaged one and also killed another one. All right, we've got Dow. Finish out the round. We got Dow, then Sheila, and then we got Will and Ray. The final round. Remember, the portal is 2 rounds. So we will get a winner between Will and Ray. Wow, Dal, that's a lot of stuff you're doing there. Activating, summoning, and attacking Julia. Okay, but I'm going to show you how this works out and was not the best move. All right, 1, and I'm glad you did this, Dal. So 1, if he turned Julia into Marty and then hit Julia, Julia would not be Marty anymore. Okay, but he has no line of sight. So Dal, in order to get line of sight on Julia, I got to move you on top of the building, or I got to move you down here where you have line of sight. So that's the first thing. The Euclid can be cast from anywhere. So you could turn her into Marty, But you can't turn her into Marty, summon. Yes. But it has to be, it can't be friendly fire. So if somebody turns your partner into something with Euclid, you can't hit them with an arrow and turn them back to normal. So when someone is polymorphed and they take damage, they go back to their normal ability. So it depends on what Dow wants to do. He can turn her into Marty for a turn, or he can move and attack. Well, we don't know yet, Julia, because we don't know if he's going to hit you with Buck. So Dow, go ahead and start your move over. Remember, all these buildings are going to create challenges because you have to climb up on the building, which is a half-turn move. All right, so he is going to turn Julia into Marty. So Julia, you will not be attacking next turn. You can still defuse bombs, by the way. And he's going to go Blaze to Busy. Now, Julia, do you want to use the eye ring to say busy, or you just want to let it hit? All right, so Julia's going to use her legendary. Busy's going to avoid the Blaze attack. And Sheila, final move of round number 3, and then we got one more round, and then we'd be at halftime. All right. Sheila getting a little retaliation. She's going to summon Slim to Cat. And TS-15 to the wall. All right, so Slim is going to go in and hit Cat, take her from 45 down to 35. TS-15 to the wall, and we're going to take down another red block. All right, so that is the end of round number 3. And then we go back to the portal. This is the 4th and final round before we switch it out for the second half. So we've got the portal battle, and this is where we left it, everybody. We've got Will at 80 and 22 with one more turn. We've got Ray at 75 and 40. Will is flying. Ray's not. Will, your second move of the round. All right, Will is going to go heal smoke in his mask. So he's going to try to heal it up. Oh, he'll potion in the mask. All right, it's going to take Will back to 100%, Ray. On the life, but Will, I got to get a die roll for your base life. Remember, base is going to come into play. So, Will, give me a number. 1, 2, or 3, 50%, 4, 5, or 6, I'll give you 100%. He picks a 4. It is a 6. Will is getting 100% heal. Now, this is going to be important. So, Will back to 40 base and 100% life. Ray is at 75 and 40. And Will is going to go Rojo to Ray with the chameleon bow. So he's going to take Ray down to 60. And his AP is a little less. But Ray, he's still hitting you with the Rojo for 12. I got Ray at 60 and 28. I got Will at 140. Ray, your final move of the portal. Can you get the victory? Or is Will going to get 100 solo points for his team? Well, it was a big heal because Will got his base back, and Ray might have been able to win with base if Will would only got 50% of that back. All right, you can't Deacon Dagger and Rubik's Grenade. Are you activating the legendary ability of the Deacon Dagger? All right, so Ray is going to do legendary activation. He's going to hit Will for 15, taking him down to 85. He's going to use Sky, his pet. It's going to take Will down to 75. And Ray is going to go Rubik's Grenade. This is important, Will. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe he's doing this to you. He's going to put Will on the spot with a little bit of trivia. Will, you can't Marty a grenade. All right, he's going to. And remember, we said all blues were used. Oh, there you go. I love it. He's making a joke with Amy. All right, so here's what happens. The Rubik's Grenade is a D10 mental block 10. So if Will had a blue, he could just prevent it, and he'd get out with the win. But he doesn't. So Will, you're taking 10, which is going to take you down to 65, and then we're going to mental block you. So Will, you got 10 seconds to answer this question. All right, Will, what do these three things have in common? And nobody else, please answer if you're watching, you're observing. Please refrain from answering. All right, Will, one-arm giant, double flyaway, half in, half out. 8 seconds. One-arm giant, double flyaway, half in, half out. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Will, I need an answer. Will says basketball terms. And Will, your daughter would be extremely disappointed because those are terms in gymnastics. One-arm giant, double flyaway, half in, half out. Somebody was playing PDL during gymnastics events. All right. Ray doing an additional 10 points of damage. All right. Final tally. Ray, 60 life. Will, 55 life. Base life. Will, 40. Ray, 28. Will gets the victory because he was able to heal back the base. If Will would have only gotten 50% of the base, Ray would have won the match by 5 points. So 100 points goes to Will the Bill and Team Right Side. So that's the way it's going to work. We take an average between the base damage and an average between the overall damage. So Will barely getting a victory. He out-healed him. See how fast and furious that's going to be? So good match between Will and Ray. Will goes back defensive position. Ray goes back on the field. The portal is officially closed. And that would have been Will's turn, so we would skip Will's turn since he opened the portal, which means Ray lost his first turn, and now Ray would get his second turn, so it's going to even itself out. So that's going to be 100 extra points for Team Right Side. And you guys can see right now they got 300, then they got 150 for a kill, and then they got another 100 points for the portal. We'll have to adjust the scoreboard too to add the portal to it. So we skip Will, and we would go to Anthony. Then we would go Father Ron, Ocean Man, Amanda, Julia, Kat, Valar, Trigger, Busy, Dow, Sheila. And then we would end the first half. So at the end of the first half, the starters would stay in the game. So I'm going to go to the second half. So the players who came in, that would be Busy Bee, and that would be Sheila. Now, if your team has 8, then the 2 players that have not played would come in. If your team only has 6, Busy Bee and Beasley, you would stay in. So you'd go back in, your health totals would reset. And round number 5 would be 6 versus 6. One portal would be open still. Wall damage would stay. Everybody would be reset back to 100% life. And then we would start out the same way we started out the matches. We'd have Will. Let's see. Emperor would go to the bench. Animal would come back in. He was one of the starters. So all your initial 4 starters going to go back. So we'd have the order would be Will, Animal, Ron, Ocean Man, Amanda, Julia, Kat, Villar, and then let's say Dow would go to the bench and B-Dub would come in. Trigger would go to the bench and Kel would come in. And then we would say Beasley and Busy, and we could put Deadly Dimes in and Tiny. All right, so that gives you a walkthrough of everything that you're going to experience. We saw the portal. We see how turn base is going to work. We see what's going to happen if you have 6 players, 7 players, 8 players, how the portal battles are going to go, strategies. If your team is 8 and you come in that second group, if you're not starting, you're going to get 2 turns. So be smart with your turns. If 7 people are on your team, then likely one of that second cycle is going to come in and you're going to play all 4 turns. So you're going to get more turns than you did before. And if you're a starter, you're definitely going to get more turns. Here's what's important, though, and I need you guys to understand this. People are going to die. So let's say, let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say Busy's here and Beasley's here. And they, starters came back in. And they only played 2 rounds. They're like, you know what? We got 8 people. I'm only getting 2 rounds. I go to the bench. Why'd I show up for 2 rounds? What's the hell? What's going on? And then this team over here comes in and they send Toxie at Ocean Man. And then they send Lance at Ocean Man. And they slide around, they kill Ocean Man. And then Ocean Man dies. Well, guess what? Beasley, you're coming right back in. So I want the players who might think they're only playing a couple of rounds to be super, super focused, because the likelihood of you coming in cycle 1 or cycle 2 is huge, because there is incentive for people to attack you. So don't think, look, if it goes perfect, there might be some nights you come in, you only play a couple rounds, your team wins. Good. But I would say more often than not, we're going to have 3 or 4 kills per game. All right. It is 10 o'clock. We had great bundle conversation, gameplay conversation, talked to a couple potential new players. I know for a new player, this is like, wow, this is mind-blowing. But once you're actually in the moment, and even for some veteran players, you're probably going to say, wow, there's a lot to this. Here's what I remind you. Your pets are the same. Your grenades are the same. Your damage is the same. You've seen this map played out, so you know how the line of sight works. You know you got to sneak through these little areas or climb up top. You know how the portals work. And I think it's going to be pretty fast gameplay. I really do. I think these matches will be faster than the regular matches, because it's only 2 halves and it's only 8 turns? Yes, BT7s will knock people up in the air. What's your question, Will? If a rover takes defender into portal, is that a plus for the team because they're not a defender? If yes, if but you don't if you don't decide who you take in the portal, they decide. So yes, they could, if they decide to keep in mind, if this is team, let me give you an example. Let me put a team up there so it feels a little bit different. So I'm going to put Julia, Villar, give you guys kind of like a real possible lineup. Okay. All right. So let's say we have Jim bombing, Villar, defender, Julia rover, Dal tank. All right. And then, Will, here's the way the portal is going to work. You're going to say me and this will be predetermined, right? I mean, you're not going to put your own team player on the spot. So you and Ray will talk about it in advance. Like, let's say, I'm going to start to move some of these other avatars out so you guys can get a real clear idea. So we're going to say Arc versus Sly. Let's put all of Sly over here. Let me get rid of Vox, and I'll do a couple walkthrough scenarios so you guys can just sort of have an idea. We can probably a good way to approach the questions. Part of the reason why I wanted to do as much time talking about, clearly the bundles are going to be, there's going to be a lot of TS10, so the loader grenades I think was a pretty important topic. But also one of the big things that I wanted to do tonight was just do walkthrough so you can see what that 4664 looks like. All right. Now, there are plenty of strategies with the portal, but keep in mind the captains need to be smart of how they set this up. So we're going to say Bone's going to be in the bomber position. Let's go ahead and just put Tiny over on the bench. And let's let Ray defend. And Animal, we'll put you over here. Julia says, thank God Dow's on my team. Yeah, he's a little crazy, isn't he? Okay. So, in most cases, a player is going to go into Portal for 3 reasons. 1, they're a really good PvPer. And they're well geared. Well, maybe 4. Number 2, they're great at tag team and have good synergy. Number 3, they've been beating down a team and the team is on the ropes, and they know pulling them in the Portal, they automatically have a life advantage. So somebody with 100% life sees somebody with a whole team maybe at 50%, then they're either going to have to send their bench players in, or they're going to have to send a weak player in. That's number 3. Number 4, the team's desperate, and they know that they need to go into Portal and turn the tables. So all of those things are going to be factors. So let's take factor number 1 and say, I'm a good PvP player. And I don't care who you got on your team. I just want to slug it out round number 1. And let's say that's Jim. And Jim says, you know what? Let's go into Portal. So Jim and Julia go into Portal. The problem is they've left 2 people out to dry while they're in the Portal. So let's say, for example, Team Sly says, oh, that's fine. You 2 go in there. You're going to get an easy win. We're going to send Tiny and Animal. Now, you've got an advantage in the Portal, but look at these 4 players. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to kill Villar? They're going to hit 4 people on the wall? So, certainly there's varying degrees, and if you did this move, those 2 players would be going into Portal. Now, what do I think Jim and Julia are going to do to Animal and Tiny? Probably a lot. So, if Jim and Julia were to make that move, and you were not to send your best geared players, they could potentially kill Animal and win the Portal battle. That's 300 points. 150 for a kill and 150 for winning. Now, Tiny could certainly make it difficult, right? But what's going to happen if Tiny goes in there and starts popping a bunch of cooldowns? He's not going to have them when he goes in the game. So he may go in and tank page 1 and use Psycho and prevent some of it from happening. But then the group on the outside's not going to have that. So there's going to be depletion, and depletion is going to be a factor. Now, could it work out this way? Could Jim go in the Portal and bring Mist in the Portal? Now that's a little bit more interesting, right? Because you've got to think about how you want to set this up. Do you guys want to sacrifice and say, hey, if Jim and Mist are going into Portal, do we want to send 2 starters? Do we want to send Dimes and Bones? Now, I would say Dimes and Bones might have a slight advantage. So now you get 2 of your big guns took into Portal, but you have a chance to get 150 points. So could Dimes and Bones beat Jim and Mist? Maybe. So you might have went into Portal and you might not get anything for it. but your team has a 3-on-2. So what might make more sense is if Jim and a bench player, whether it's Beasley or somebody else, if Mist comes in, maybe you send Tiny and Dimes. Now that's pretty even. Tiny and Dimes might be able to pull off a portal victory. Maybe not. But now you got 3 versus 3 on the outside. So I think, as I said with the leaders this morning, I think condition, I think preparing for the portal is going to be a big deal. Whether you go in sealed, whether you go in with a pet. And why you go into the portal. Dimes goes in the solo portal. Who is Jim going to choose to go in and fight Dimes? Maybe Mist with Intervene can go in and hold her own. And then now they got a 4 versus 3. Maybe Jim says, you know what? Let's slug it out. Here. There you go, Dimes. You went in. I'm going to send Julia in. So now we get Julia and Dimes battling for that 100 points. Now, I doubt one player would kill the other player in 2 rounds. But if someone's taken damage before they go in, that's a possibility. There will be times where people get kills in the portal. There's also going to be times you saw like Will and Ray, it's going to be a matter of when you go in. Now, if somebody's already used a heal potion or a heal smoke, somebody drops a heal smoke, you still got your whole assortment of items. But 2 turns is going to be super fast. It's going to be an abbreviated strategy. It's going to be a different type of PvP. And I think why you go into portal is going to be as important as what you do when you get there. Now, I'll leave it at that. There could be some minor modifications once we get a week under our belt. But I think the first week is going to be crucial to see it live, to see how your moves play out, to see who's bold, to see who's going to go after walls. I mean, think about it. You got brand new loader grenades, so certainly people are going to go after the walls. You've got 6 versus 6, and killing blows are now worth 150. Certainly people are going to go after kills. All right, so any questions? Does this give you guys enough to start to work on, to start to strategize? Will knows. Will, I'll get a text message from her at 7:00 in the morning with a list of questions. And I'll say this. I said it to the leaders this morning on a conference call. You're going to have to learn when to hold them, when to fold them. Know when to walk away, know when to run. There are going to be times that you might be sitting at 25 life and it just absolutely is not worth trying to stay alive. That you're going to spend 2 cooldowns and a potion to try to keep yourself alive, when all you have to do is just say, you know what, I'm dead, I'm done, and res and restore, or get somebody else in there. So be smart in your team play and realize that death is going to be a part of it. you're at 40, 50 and you're a key player and you can leg it out and keep from losing the points, so be it. If your team's spending everything they got to keep you alive and it ends up costing them the game, then you got to make a business decision. It's what we call it, right? So we got to see, yeah, and a good call out, Trigger. Great job, Kat. You guys have been doing some good jobs. So some people have been teaching the game and watching the game. We saw a couple other players in here tonight. Hopefully, we'll get them to roll characters. And once again, that's a credit to you guys because new players come here, they feel welcome, and it's just two. So 4 blues, 2 psychos, and 2 Martys. 8 turns. Um, I think a couple of your turns could be scripted. Certainly, you can't script a whole match because you never know what somebody's going to do to you. But the first turn, the first 2 or 3 players, you probably have an idea what you're going to do. You come in off the bench, you're probably going to have an idea. All right, I'm going to open it up another 4 or 5 minutes. Thoughts, and I saw some of the good thoughts, but who's fired up to play some farm next week? Like some real, you can see your team really having a good time with this. It's rare that you get the chance to do something with the game and say it's less moves but more involved. So I think the way we're doing it now by expanding the field to 6 is really going to get that second cycle a part of some really, really good action. And I look at our second cycle, look at Mir, Ben, Flyrod, Julie J, and Nixie. They learned some good chemistry. They played well together. But now that's going to change because now you're going to have Ben and Flyrod in with Bonnie and Kel and Moonshot and Amanda. And then you look at Ark, and you got really good chemistry between Mist, Busy, and Beasley, but it was always a different player, right? It was the 3 of them with Valar, the 3 of them with Julia, 3 of them with Dow. Now you're going to get more consistency because you know that 2 of you are going to come in and you're going to be playing with the same 4 people. No. BT7s will not work on the chest when the chest is engaged. And the only thing we really didn't see tonight is somebody going after the chest or somebody using Boss to go after the chest. Remember, Boss is no longer a one-hit pet. Boss has 50% of the health of the player who cast him. So we didn't see that tonight, but I'm very certain we will see it. And keep in mind, again, the points for capturing chests, there's still 2 turns. 150, 200, 250, and 300. So, true or false? Multiple players could cast Boss at a chest. True or false? True. So 3 players on your team could all cast boss, and they got to kill 3 separate pets. Once you get the flag is reset, but absolutely you can have multiple targets trying to take the chest. You should be. You absolutely should. That should be a strategy. Is one of your players or a couple of your players need to be trying to capture flags. And we're going to have defensive points, kill points, flag points, block points, and portal points. There's going to be 5 ways you can score. And again, and I'm asking guys another true or false question. You know what, Ray? As a matter of fact, boss was in the last bundle that we did last week. So here's another true or false question. Player A, Bonnie, sends me an updated character record sheet with all of her equipment gemmed and glyphed. And she adds 40 additional health to her already good gear. Player B doesn't upgrade and use all the gems in her inventory. Sends me a message and says, hey, Kills, I'm going to use my same armor. All right, we go to battle, and player A, Bonnie, uses boss, and player B, who did not gem and glyph, uses boss as well. Whose boss is likely dying first? Player B. So, boss gets stronger the more you get stronger. So, I want that to be important, because when you guys are playing this, rule number 1 is have fun. No doubt about it. Rule number 2, don't do anything to screw your team over when all you had to do is take 10 minutes. You get called into work. Look, I'm not going to preach to you guys. You get called into work. Things happen. I get it. You can't shut down Call of Duty for 15 minutes to get me a character record sheet and your team loses by 10 points. Then figure it out. I mean, that's all I can tell you is you know what you have in your inventory. So take the time, get with your team, talk to your team to make sure you got the best possible setup you can have. If you lose with the best you can do, you lose. If you lose because you weren't prepared, don't tell me, Joe. You tell your faction. They're the ones that are going to be setting up the lineup. But they'll be here when you come back, Joe. All right. No worries. Have a good vacation. I will say this about our faction leaders. They are very, very supportive. And we got a couple that will actually take your inventory for them and fill out your character record sheets. So, I know this came up in the past. I don't know who it was, but faction inventory shouldn't be like a huge secret. I'm not telling you guys you got to share everything you have, but if you need some help and you don't have the time or you don't know, I don't think it's a big deal to share some of your items with your faction if they're willing to help you out. Now, if I don't need your help and I just don't want you to know what my inventory is, it's not a big deal. I mean, it sure works both ways. But if people are willing to help you, they can't steal your stuff because it's all digital. So, telling them or saying, here's my inventory. Look at it, and maybe you can help me set up this character record sheet. I think you'll be okay. All right. I said 5 minutes. I did address this question earlier today. So let's say Joe goes on vacation and he's out. Hopefully he gets some Wi-Fi. And by the way, let me just say this. You certainly have a right to go on vacation. But how many games do you play a week? Just a FYI, just a quick question. One. One. Just one. Just one. That's it. You only play one game. I'm talking about PvP. One game per week. If you're playing 4 rounds of PvP, what's the approximate amount of time that you'll be playing PvP? Okay. So, theoretically, even if you're on vacation, we're talking about an hour, right? 30 minutes to an hour. I think I could make 30 minutes to an hour because it's not like you're going in and clocking in. And this is my personal opinion. So I've seen it with Jim. I've seen it with Bonnie. I've seen it with Julia. So if and Joe, that's a different conversation. If that's the case and somebody says turn it off, you turn it off. I get it. I'm just going to say that I could find 30 minutes. I could probably, you could probably buy her a pedicure. Say, hey, we're on vacation. I need 45 minutes. Let me buy you this nice pedicure and have that done while I'm communicating with my team. I got to be in there 4 rounds. I got to throw a few grenades, and then boom, we're going to win, and I'm done. That type of thing. Everybody's got their own level of what, I guess what they can do and what their vacation is like. But for me personally, I don't consider Play Dead Live a job, even though sometimes it is a lot of work. It's a recreational activity for most, and it should be for you. But hopefully, even when you guys are on vacation, you're not helping me make my case, Dal. So I would say the expectation of your team is that we want everybody to be a part of it. Vacation or no vacation, I would love for everybody to be able to diplomatically work it out, where it doesn't always become, hey, I'm out for 2 weeks. You guys are on your own. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I think we try to be receptive of that and say, we're doing one match a week. If you miss a Friday night, there's ways that you can make it up. But, these teams, they rely on you. They rely on you for PvP. You're a very important part of what they do. And I love Julia's comment. Julia's like, you got Wi-Fi, Joe. I mean, there you go. And Animal, I love you. Jim was at like Lake Tahoe. Bonnie was at a casino. Valar is taking breaks from her job, which is very important. And Dal has a secret cubby hole in his job where he plays PvP. So, Joe, you can find 30 minutes for us. Come on. Get a Wi-Fi. It'll be scheduled in advance. You guys are playing Wednesday night. Be ready to go. Your team needs you. The bar is high because I've seen the commitment level of so many players. You want to be the animal? You need to be the animal. Suck it up. All right. In all seriousness, hopefully you guys enjoyed the walkthrough tonight. I hope I answered most of the questions. If not, I'll be available. You guys can shoot me some messages. We are going to do our pack event. I think, Kel, before some of the other super chats coming into tonight, we were at about 7 boxes. We'll have up to 20 boxes. Tomorrow we've got that legendary element. We've got cosmic. So, good stuff in tomorrow's boxes. So get those reserved. I know we have 7 already. We'll do up to 20. Maybe we do 12. Maybe we do 16. Maybe we do 20. Who knows? And the bundles will be up every time we do. If you guys are running low, let me know you need a smoke bundle. Let me know you need a leader bundle. Let me know you need grenades. And then the PvP will be back up on Monday night. So, no, you're probably not going to see the dance video until Friday. It's just been, today threw me a curveball. But I thought with the farm kicking off on Monday, this was the most important thing. It's why we didn't do the pack event today. So I canceled the pack event and canceled everything else I was working on, really to change a few of the dynamics of the game. And I think everything we changed is for the better. The PvP is going to be better. The collecting of the gladiator gear is going to be better. The bundles are better. And everything is more cost effective. And, that's all I can do. If at this point, and I'm just going to be as brutally honest as I can, if we're putting items up there that are as low cost as we can, and in some cases, this is going to be $10, $15 a month. If that is a big hurdle, you're probably going to run into restocking situations in the future. There's going to be an element of the game that is going to have that, but right now I think we're at a point where 150 grenades at that price point is that's going to last most people for 2 months. So that's where we are. Hopefully, we get some people involved in that and they can work on their inventory, or the way you play the game is going to have to change. And you may be sitting out a couple rounds on Friday night and have to do something a little bit differently, but that's kind of the structure where we're at. All right, everybody. Thanks for everything that you guys do. Appreciate your time. We had a good event tonight. Super, super excited about next week. And I will see you all I'll see you all tomorrow, at 3 o'clock. So, yeah, ride it till it runs out. And then when it runs out, wherever we go. And if we have to do smaller groups or we have to do private events, then, we'll do whatever we need to do. But we'll see how that plays out. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. And then we also got a Walking Dead stream tomorrow night. So have a good one, everybody. Peace.